All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors the elder apostle Tahar, and the other elders of men of great millstone, and the other men, women, and children who's currently impatiently waiting for the return of our Adawan of power and big brother Yahweh Shai. All right, and I just wanted to touch on, I had it in my mind, keeping this pretty much keeping a steady mind. All right, as we're going forward. All right, as we're entering into what we call Jacob's trouble. All right, and having faith. Faith is the foundation for that, the basis for that. Having a firm, being rooted and grounded, and having a firm foundation built off of faith, because that's what it's going to take to get through this. All right, having faith and believing in Him, because that's what faith is. Belief in Yahweh Shai, that He can do the things that He has a reputation for. All right, and where is His reputation located at? It's in the Holy Scriptures. All right, so if we do those, if we have faith in Him and endure to the end, we can pretty much receive salvation. All right. So let's go to this one scripture that popped up in my mind, which I wanted to start off with. This is 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2 and verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. And that word falling away pretty much means apostate, all right? Or pretty much faithless, all right? Pretty much not having no faith. And as you can see in this particular society, there is no faith, all right? There's no belief in the Holy Scriptures. As a matter of fact, it's contrary to their particular plans of establishing what they call a New World Order, all right? Because they need this truth to be pushed to the side. And so also that word shaken in mind, well, I didn't even go there yet, but I'm gonna read that since I mentioned it. I'm gonna slide up to 2. That ye be not soon shaken in mind or troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as the day of the Mashiach is at hand. That you don't be agitated in your mind, all right, or moved by these things, all right, because these things, we know that they're going to happen, all right. And it just brought me, when I read this, it brought me back to when I was down Center City, when I was talking to that dude that was from another camp, and him pretty much hopping from camp to camp, and being drunk, and then talking about what's the name, what's not the name, all right? He had a double mind. And we have to firmly believe and not question, because them demons will try to hop on you and try to make you question his faith, all right? And which you have to be firmly resolved in your mind, man, that this is the truth, all right? And they're for me, they're just speaking from my personal experience, because I haven't been in this faith long. But for me, from what I see, there are certain things that'll keep your faith going. One of them is prayer. The other is reading. All right, and just hearing this word. All right, letting this word resonate within you, because that builds you up. All right, that builds you up to where you have a strong foundation, and then on top of that, when you come against obstacles, all right, and you pass those obstacles, according to this knowledge, it builds further upon your faith. Let me read the scriptures. We're going to let's go more into things that pertain to faith. You know what? I'm gonna go here. This is Hebrews 2:1. Therefore, we ought to give the more earnest heed to the things which ye have heard, lest at any time we should let them slip. All right, giving heed to the things that we have heard, constantly hearing this word. The scriptures say, "Faith cometh by hearing." Matter of fact, let me go here.
That scare is the main thing.
This is Romans 10. Romans 10 and 14. How then shall they call on him on whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? How shall they hear without a preacher? All right, or somebody that speaks this word. So that too, watching the videos, all right, listening to the men that's in this truth, all right, preaching this word. How shall you hear except you have a preacher? Somebody has to administer this word out, all right. And there are many men on the highways and hedges and other places where you can hear this good news. And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them which preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. Because the scriptures say also too that a good word maketh the heart. A good word, roughly paraphrased, maketh the heart glad. So when you hear this word, all right, and it's true in its purest form, it uplifts your spirit, man. All right, it uplifts your spirit. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go here and then come back to that. This is Proverbs 18 and 14. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear. All right, and that spirit of that man, if it's sustaining his infirmity, it's because he's believing he has hope in his truth. All right, it'll sustain him and hold him up in the midst of his adversity, which is why you see a lot of brothers in this ministry that's probably sick. All right, that got health issues, but they're still able to come out here through faith, and that is faith, man. All right, that's faith to come out here when you're not well and when you're not sick. I mean, when you're not well and you're sick and you have health issues, because a lot of men can't even come out here in their full strength, man. All right, so it takes some degree of faith to even just come out here, man. It says, but a wounded spirit who can bear. Right. So if your spirit is wounded, and more than likely, it's because you're not putting your mind centered on His truth. Matter of fact, let's go here before I go back to that. Before I go back to Romans. This is Isaiah 26 and 3. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusted in thee. So really, technically, no matter what you go through, if you keep your mind in this, he'll keep you in perfect peace, man. All right. And I was reading in the book of Acts. I think it was Acts chapter 9, either 9 or 14, but I think it was chapter 9, where Paul talked about the things that the pearls that he was in. All right, all the pearls that he was in, and amongst those pearls that he was in, meaning those dangers, he had to care for the church. All right, and he'd been into all types of dangers, man. All right, of his own countrymen, all right, of the heathen, all right, shipwrecked, but it never thwarted his faith because he understood that we had to suffer in this truth. But mainly, he kept his mind on Yahweh Shai, man. And that takes a great degree of faith, man, to keep going. Keep going when nobody expects you to keep going, or when you're in danger or difficult, or when your life is in danger. And that's what we're going to need going forward into Jacob's trouble. All right? Having faith and praying for faith. Because faith is a gift. All right? Verse 15. And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. But have they all not obeyed the gospel? For Isaiah saith, the Adawan who have believed our report. So then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of the Most High. So we have to continually feast off this meal. All right? Because this is what is considered a meal, which is a meal for your soul. Just like you feed your physical man, your spiritual man has to be fed. And I'm speaking to myself first and foremost. But slack it. I know where I want to go. This is the book of Joshua, chapter 1 and verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have a good success. So that's how you make your way prosperous. Stand meditating on this word. All right? Meditating on these precepts. All right? Which is able to save your soul, man. And whatever you're going through, all right, meditating on those particular things. You can be, you have a depression demon attack you, and you can go into some scriptures that pertain to that, or pertain to whatever you go through. And that's how we fight, because these are ideologies. These are thoughts that come into our mind. All right, and if we give over to them thoughts, all right, and they overtake us, man, then we can be destroyed. Let's go to all right. Let's go to second Esdras. This is second Esdras, chapter 7 and verse 56. For while we lived and committed iniquity, we considered not that we should begin to suffer for it at the death. Then answered he me and said, this is the condition of the battle, which man that is born upon the earth shall fight. That if he be overcome, he shall suffer as thou hast said. But if he get the victory, he shall receive the thing that I say. And what's that life? If we get the victory. Scripture says, like I said, if we endure to the end, we shall be saved. But that don't mean that we're not going to go through temptations, all right, and all kinds of sorts, all kinds of hell, all right. Count it all joy when you fall into various trials and temptations, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience, man, in which we're going to need patience, long suffering. Those are fruits of the Spirit. Faith. Those are the things that's going to get us through, man. Patiently waiting on Yahweh Shai. And we're suffering for the most part. A lot of us are suffering a lot of the same things, man. Tired, all right, exhausted in the body, maybe exhausted somewhat in the mind. All right, dealing with multiple trials and temptations from different angles, whether it be in your personal life, your family life, on a job. But hey, that's the condition of the battle, all right? But what do? We read, man. We read, we pray, and that gives us faith. Matter of fact, let's go here. This is Revelations 2:25. But that which ye have already hold fast till I come. Hold fast, meaning and endure, basically. Hold fast till I come. Hold on to that which you have. The little faith that you have, hold on to that. Because we're gonna be rewarded for that, man. Right? That's not gonna go unnoticed. And it's not going unnoticed in the heavens. Verse 26, he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him I will give power over the nations. So we're going to have power over these nations. And that should give you a certain level of hope, knowing that we're going to be sovereign and ruling over all these other nations that pretty much ruled over us, man. All right? That should give you hope in your spirit. In fact, I'm going to stand here because I know it was something else that I wanted to do. It's like you bear with me. Something that I would do. All right, well, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it because I can't find it. But the scriptures say, "Blessed he that readeth." All right, and I thought maybe it was in the book of Revelations. All right, but let's hit something else up. All right, well, let's do this. Galatians 6:9. And let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. All right, if we don't faint and we endure this truth until the end, we're going to reap a great harvest. All right, but ultimately we have to endure to the end. We have to have faith until the end. Let's go to Hebrews. If there's a record of our people holding, our forefathers, foremothers, holding fast to their faith. All right. This is Hebrews 11 and verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of the Most High, so that things which are seen are not made of things which do appear. By faith Abel offered unto the Most High a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, the Most High testifying of his gifts, and by it being dead yet speaketh. Right, because his record, his testimony is written in these books. Verse 5, by faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death. It was not found because the Most High had translated. For before this translation, he has this testimony. He pleased the Most High, so the Most High took him away. All right, because he pleased the Most High. All right, and he had faith. So I'm gonna slide over to 10 and 37. For yet a little while, and he that shall come will come, and will not tarry. Now the just shall live by faith, but if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him. Right? What happens? We become turned over to the world, man. We succumb to the things that basically we succumb to our fears, man, and our delusions. And I kind of seen that with that guy downtown, man. All right, he pretty much succumbed to his delusions and fears, and I don't know what that is. You know, my assumption was that he didn't know what to believe. But that's the point that I'm getting at, of being fully persuaded in your mind. All right, fully persuaded that this is the truth. All right, being fully persuaded in your mind. This is Mark 9 and 23. Yahweh Shai said unto them, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. And that's touching on when they healed they cast that dumb and deaf spirit out that young man. They cast a dumb and deaf spirit out of him. And when you go to Matthew, it's another thing I was thinking about earlier. When you go to Matthew 17 and 20, and Yahweh Shai said unto them, because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if you have faith as a grain of a mustard seed, you shall say to this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. All right, having faith with the grain of a mustard seed. And the mustard seed is not that big. It's pretty much one of the smallest seeds out of all the plants. It's like a dot almost, like a crumb. So if you have that little bit of faith, you can move, as they say, mountains. All right, in which the men of the Lord are doing, man. All right, mountains pertaining to these particular governments. All right, because he's pleading our cause, man. All right, and that's what we want. We want him to plead our cause. And this little bit of faith, all right. Scriptures say, roughly paraphrasing, is a light thing if that thou raise up the tribes for me. All right, just this little bit of faith, man. This word is devastating to these nations, man. All right, Esau can't deal with it. He can't deal with the truth. All right. And this truth is spread out throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, so now they have no cloak for this. They have no cloak, man. They can't hide no more, and the world is seeing them for who they really are. So if we're doing this with just this little bit of faith, if we're able to do this now through just teaching the word, hey, then what more do you need to see, really? Because it's devastating to the ideologies of this particular man. Matter of fact, scriptures say this word is powerful, man. Luke 21 and 15, for I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. And that's what's going on. They can't resist or gainsay. They can't get a one-up on this word. And each time they try, they stumble, man. All right, the best of them. Like I was telling that brother down there, not many mighty, not many noble are called. But the Most High has chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And he's given us faith. He's given us a platform, a rock to stand on, which is Yahweh Shai. So we're speaking it, we're chanting this place and speaking it down, man. We come out here and prophesy. All right, speaking the downfall, or letting our people know that that the Israelites, what this thing is, are also on top of that, just being out here, period. All right, just being a beacon out here, because people riding by, they may be watching videos. You might be a reminder that, hey, boom, you know what? Let me look at I was planning on watching them Israelites tonight. Let me look at them and watching them Hebrew Israelites. So you're pretty much a beacon of hope, man, when you're out here. And I heard somebody say that, man, from overseas. It was a video that as long as we're out here on a corner, there's hope, and which there is, man, because this grace period is not closed yet. All right, it's still time, man. A lot of people are going to come in even at the final hour, and this is a miracle, man. All right, in which they can't stop. So this should be a reminder to continually move you in the faith, man, in the faith of pushing this word, man. How be it nothing will be impossible to you. And you got to believe that. And when you can't, I always think of myself as not just looking at my life now, but looking at my life even before I was in the truth. Because there are certain things that even while I wasn't in the truth, that were deemed miracles to me. Certain things that I overcome. So he shows you, man. All right, he gives you confirmation when you do have faith. All right, he lets you know that you're on the right path, man.